to couples who have made a commitment to building a life together, but monogamy is not part of the picture. Joe and his wife Zaeli started dating when they were 21. Now they're husband and wife, and they have a daughter together. They each also have long-term partners outside of their marriage. The four of them will join us in a moment, but first, a look at their unconventional approach to love.
I wasn't really inspired by monogamy. I was more inspired by this other way of thinking about love and partnership. Hey, babies. So we started in an open relationship and were that way for 2 years. Did 2 years monogamy, 2 years broken up, and then we got back together and got engaged right away, knowing that we wanted to have an open marriage.
And we didn't have like a mentor or like any obvious examples, so there was a lot of figuring it out ourselves. And I think we did a pretty good job considering, for sure.
After 3 years of an open marriage, Zaeli met Blake, and Joe later met Ixie.
I found out that Zaeli was married probably the second or third time that we met, and I had already been interested in her, and then she went up and talked about her marriage and her open marriage. So it was interesting to notice my reaction in being like, wow, this woman is married, but she might still be available in some way.
I knew he was immediately married because I saw this like big wedding ring on his hand. So I remember thinking, okay, he's really married. The next day our mutual friend said, you should go on a date with Joe. I said, what? He said, well, he's in an open marriage. And I said, oh, okay, got it. Even though I actually had not been dating monogamously myself for a couple of years, I was a little bit intimidated by the thought of dating a married man with a child. So once I was really ready, then we got together.
People think that this is an escape from commitment, but I think it's really the opposite. We have to agree to be brave for each other.
We all shine our light on different people from our angle, and you know, Blake has his angle, and that shines light on different parts of Zaeli, and that's wonderful. I want, you know, her to be fully illuminated.
I think it also requires that you are happy, that someone you love is happy, even if it's not coming from you.
If you just imagine an everyday person in a relationship and you're letting this man barge into your relationship, that's like challenges your manhood. I'm no less of a man, and in fact more of a man, for having the confidence in my relationship that it's not a threat, this is all good. It's making everything better.
We all trust that we're good people. We don't want to hurt each other, and we just choose not to spend our energy worrying about these like fake problems that might happen or might not, and if they do, trust that we will take them on as a team.
Please welcome Zaeli Kane and her husband Joe Spurr. And also joining us is Zaeli's boyfriend, Blake Wilson, and Joe's girlfriend, Ixie Kirkilis. All right, we're gonna go through that one more time just to make sure everybody understands. Joe and Zaeli, you two are married.
Yes.
Joe and Zaeli are married. And this is Blake, who's Zaeli's boyfriend, and that's Ixie, who is Joe's girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay, everyone got it? All right, good. They'll help us through it. So let's talk about the first time. We went through how you all met, but let's talk about how you two met and how you two met, right? That's what's interesting to me. Was it at all, you know, when Joe, it's sort of like the open marriage sounds good, and then when Joe brings home Ixie, are you at all like, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel anymore.
No, well, Ixie is not the first woman that Joe has dated while we've been married.
Okay.
But it is the first friendship that's really come out of it, which I think is why it has stuck so well. And I don't know, Ixie, the first time we met, she came over for dinner, and I did not suspect that this would become like a new best friend of mine right away. She was a little nervous, and
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine why.
Joe's friends tend to be people who like to like hug right away, and I'm more someone who like a hug is an intimate act of affection. So she sort of like chased me around for a hug, and we had our first like wah-wah moment. Yeah.
But now, unlike our last guests, the love relationships, or the sexual relationships, are only between you as husband and wife. you two and you two? There's nothing beyond that.
Right.
There are 3 separate relationships.
Yeah.
3 separate. These two, and those 2. Okay, got it. And before I get to the rest, you two guys, the first time you met, I understand there was a situation where you and Zaeli were together on the couch, and what happened?
Yeah, we were talking on the couch, and then there was a knock at the door, and we had missed a text that Joe was coming home, and it was just like, oh my God, this is happening. So I went outside and we shook hands. I was like, hey man, and then I was like, goodbye. I just darted down the stairs, basically.
So it's awkward in the beginning,
Very awkward,
but obviously all open and accepted. So there's got to be, most people are out there thinking there's got to be some awkwardness that comes from that, even ongoing. I mean, how is everything arranged? Like when you decide you don't want to spend the night in Zaeli's bed and you want to go see Ixie, how do you handle that, Joe?
I mean, it's just sort of normal scheduling at this point. You know, we all try to see each other once a week and make sure we're getting enough time with each other. If someone needs more time or more space to themselves, we'll figure that out. So we just talk to each other.
Now, do you see other women, Blake?
Occasionally, I've dated other women, but dating is terrible, Megyn. So
Amen, brother.
I love this woman with all my heart, and it fills me.
But how do you feel about the fact that she's married to Joe?
It's like if it's like she has a big family, and I get to learn from their relationship. They have a successful relationship that I get to model and learn from, and it's very helpful.
Now, Ixie, do you see other men outside of Joe?
Similar answer. Yes, occasionally I've dated some men casually, but I'm not really actively looking for another partner. I'm just mainly open to the people that need to come into my life.
Yeah. So you're not, I don't know, like
No,
Blake
we're
is a nice
friends.
man.
We're like
That's not-
cousins that fight
Yeah,
a little bit.
he's a little-
Yeah.
Now, what's the children's situation? You have children?
We have a daughter.
Okay. And does everyone help raise her, or how does that work with her?
Yeah, so Blake has come on as a co-parent, and that's how she sees him. And he does a lot of drop-off at daycare. He does a lot of the cooking. He's the best cook in the family.
Nice.
And she definitely sees him as a parent. And then Ixie has stepped it up lately. She babysits like once a week now so that
Yeah.
we can have a date night. And she's definitely the favorite.
But I'm sure you get judged. Do you feel that? How does that manifest, if at all, in your lives?
When we get judged by people we don't know, it's easy to just be like, oh, they don't know us, And everybody's got their process, and everybody's had a lot of history with relationships, and they project their history onto what they think this might be like. It's a little bit different when it comes from friends and family, but if people have an open mind and an open heart, then they see what it is.
How about that? Has there been any blowback at like the Christmas holiday or whatever, where you go home? Do all 4 of you go? How does it work?
Yeah, well, I would say, we try to prioritize the grandparents around holidays, and it pretty much alternates between my family and his for what we do. And then we kind of invent our own little holidays so that we have festivities together and silly traditions that belong to us. And I guess I would say there was a time in my life where I was really invested in whether people approved of what I did, and I had to sort of force myself to outgrow that. But at the end of the day, you just got to charge to the game, as my manager would say. Hey, Jimmy. Yeah, you can't, not everybody's going to understand you, and you have to check in with your own heart over and over and being like, how am I actually affecting the people in my life? Because that's what really matters.
What's the one thing you want people to know about this kind of an unconventional relationship setup?
Well, so for me, I think that my choice to be involved in this family dynamic really challenges that assumption that as a woman, I ultimately really, really want is to get married and have a child. But the truth is that not everyone feels that situation is actually ideal for them. So I'm just so grateful to have found something that actually allows me to have sort of one foot in this ambitious career woman, traveler, independent, doing my work in the world, and another foot in sort of the family, more domestic, romantic, commitment world. So I feel, kind of like I have it all.
And I'm so happy that my daughter gets to witness that as an option.
Yeah.
No one is being cheated in a family like this. There isn't any part of me that wishes Zaeli was single, and in fact, it's easier to raise children with more adults, you know?
Right.
And it's better for, not better, but it helps for children to have more close role models.
Loving, caring people in their lives. I mean, that's what kids need in general. Thank you for coming on and telling your story.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.